estate team up so that I can share it. We are already live. Yay. Hang on, guys. I'm so excited to be here with Paul today. I'll introduce him in just a minute. Okay. Yep, we are on here live. Let me share this to my personal page so we can kind of get more people watching.
Sure.
All right, it's posted. Yay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my office, my very sanitary office, where we are social distancing properly. And I'm so excited to be here with Paul Haigh today. Apparently, his last name is Haigh. I've been running his last name for a long time. But Paul is a cybersecurity expert, and he is with Rumble's Document Solutions. He's been there for over 25, well, he has over 25 years of experience in the fields of information security, computer forensics, and cybercrime. And I mean, like I read that introduction. I was like, wow, this is really, I mean, I just feel like we're really hitting on something really good today. So for those of you who may not know, I'm Leslie Bennett. I'm with Bennett Real Estate Company. And this is something that we're doing during this time just to really inform and educate the community. And it's so cool because we've had some really good guests, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. So let's get right into it, Paul. You know, I read a headline today that said cyber attacks continue to mount during COVID-19 pandemic, right? So why are we at a higher risk now, would you say, and why are we?
Yeah, unfortunately, absolutely we are. And, you know, the cyber criminal, we like to call them the threat actor, if you will. That's the cybersecurity term for it. But let's just say it's the bad guys out there are very definitely taking advantage of this. Taking advantage, if nothing else, our fear, our worry. We are mentally not in the same place that we would normally be. And we're facing the internet a lot more often. We're using technology that they can exploit against us.
Right.
And, you know, it's clearly not that this medical global pandemic virus-based has any way compromised our technology. No. But what it has done is put us in a position that we're not accustomed to. And so, yeah, the bad guys are seeing this, and it makes it more dangerous because we are so exposed.
So you're not saying, that's so funny that you said that yesterday. I was on a call with my call yesterday, and we lost audio, and somebody commented and said the corona has attacked it too. I mean, everybody's on. We're so much online right now that it's crashing many of these platforms, and we're seeing a lot of difficulties. So, but continue on. I just thought that was interesting.
That's a perfect example. You were sharing an example with me right before we went on the air about your own streaming service was suddenly bogged down because of what's going on. We're also, a lot of people are using Zoom. We're hearing about Zoom meetings. Well, there's a thing called Zoom bombing. It's people that infiltrate your session like we're on now because they know how to hack the code, the little links that we send to each other connect to these types of forums. And if they can guess what that code is, they jump in and then they start creating havoc. It's just crazy what's going on. And again, the technology's always been there. These problems have always existed, but now is the opportunity for these very lazy, very problematic people to try and infiltrate our lives. And in worst cases, it's actually trying to attack our businesses. So that's where we're seeing a lot of our focus right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you yourself seen any examples of that around here, or heard of any examples other than the Zoom bomb?
Zoom bomb, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we're seeing it quite a lot. We're mostly focusing on people that are working from home right now because unfortunately only about a third of the employers and companies out there actually sent their computers, their company-owned computers, home with the employees. The rest of them have relied on the employees. Well, you can just use your own computer. You can connect back to the office. Well, think about that for a minute. And I stand by this concept. There's an old proverb that says you kind of got to be a thief to catch a thief. Well, I don't think you got to be a cyber criminal to catch one, but you got to think like one.
Yeah.
So if people are working at home, they're using their personal computers, the same ones that their children are playing on all the time. They're usually shared.
Yeah.
They're surfing the internet, they're playing games, they're watching videos. These are not as protected as our commercial-based computers. I mean, businesses spend a lot of money and resources protecting their office equipment.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. That's a great example. So I actually use Rumbles. Paul, I work with Paul, and he has, I guess you have protection on my computer. I've got a desk, office, and a home that we take home. So Katie Bell has been playing all kind of Animal Jam and some kind of mess on my computer. So I'm being protected then. In other words, I mean, nobody can get in there and attack me because whatever you've got on my computer. Is that right?
Well, it's less likely. I would never go as far as to say nothing could happen, because this is what we're worried about. You know, your computer comes right off the shelf, even your home computer, with some built-in protection, it's called Windows Defender, or there's a little firewall that comes with it. But if you're a bad guy, the first thing you're going to do is get past those, because every computer out there has got that. So the commercial computers that we protect for you, for instance, we are adding extra layers of protection, commercial grade, enterprise level, that's designed to much more protect you using that type of computer than a home computer, something that just was bought off the shelf somewhere.
Right.
And it's not to say those can't be protected too, but people aren't thinking about that. I mean, there's also usually most businesses have a device called a firewall, an actual physical device with intrusion detection. And I don't want to get technical, but all these features in your business, especially if you take credit cards, that people are not using in their homes. And what really scares me the most, and what we're really watching and trying to educate people on, is your accounts payable people, your financial people who are banking for the business at home on a personal computer.
Yeah.
That is a wide open door. If you're sitting there logging into your corporate bank accounts from an unprotected network, just think about how exposed that is and how problematic that could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like you said, a story. So just last year, Tallahassee City payroll department, all their funds got diverted to an offshore account. And that was before the coronavirus and before people were working at home. So
And so what did they do?
They don't use it. Unfortunately, they don't. That's the problem.
Oh, wow.
Most of these threat actors are, in countries that don't have extradition treaties. They are operating in places that you can't easily go after them legally. So
so these stories don't have happy endings usually, huh?
No, there are things you can do to protect yourself. A lot of people are worried about ransomware and backups, and we agree. You've got to spend some time working with a professional to make sure all of that's done properly, because backups have been around so long, since before the internet, that people just forget about them. They go, oh, it's happening. You better protect it.
These scams, so it's things like them, they can steal your money, basically, like this offshore account that you're talking about. I'm sure they can get your personal information, right? Like passwords, things like that. What about on Facebook? Y'all seen all those little things everybody's doing? What's your favorite food? What's your dog's name? Your grandmother's name? Blah blah blah. And then I saw this morning somebody said, quit giving out all this information. You're giving hackers all your password information. Is that right? What do you say about that?
Well, if you've ever been on a website that says, hey, let's create some security questions, those questions behind the scenes that only you would know. So if you need to recover your password, well, they're usually your first dog's name, all the kind of things that are coming up. So again, thinking like the bad guy, trying to catch the thief. Yeah, I think I'll create one of those little Facebook things and ask all the kind of crazy questions that companies ask to password protect.
Right.
And anything that you click on, you got to be aware of. I mean, emails, 90% of all compromises come from email, because all that firewall we're talking about and all those programs are worthless if you give them permission to get into your computer by clicking on something you shouldn't have.
Wow.
So that's what I guess the biggest thing that's happening outside of, like I said, people using their computers at home is people that are being lured to click on fake emails. Even the World Health Organization was spoofed, they call it. There were tens of thousands of emails sent out from the World Health Organization. It wasn't really them. Just trying to get somebody to click on something and get their computer infected. And then the bad guys can sit there for months watching what you do, trying to gather information before they actually do something terribly nefarious. They want to sit there as long as they can.
Yeah. So most of these scams have to do with theft in some way, basically, or is there more? I mean, what other risks are there? So it's mostly.
Yeah, it's almost always a some type of con or scam, or trying to get information so that they can eventually defraud you. We heard yesterday from the FBI there's now a problem with advertising going on for fake personal protective equipment that you can buy, and it turns out that it's what's the word? It's fake. It's not real, or there's scams and knockoffs, or there's a counterfeit is what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
But this kind of stuff is happening. And again, it's just another way that they are leveraging our fear against us. So we're out there clicking on things on the internet, trying to find, is my business going to be okay? Are there going to be furloughs? Is it stimulus package?
Yeah.
A very famous company called Barracuda that's been in the email security business for a very long time, just about a week ago, released a report that said they've seen almost a 700% increase in the use of words like coronavirus or COVID-19 in fake emails, trying to lure people to click on stuff they shouldn't be clicking on so that they get compromised.
Yeah. So, what can we do about it? I mean, how can we protect ourselves and make sure that we're not going to be scammed?
There's so many different ways that you can be scammed. The first thing I would say is obviously to educate yourself and educate your employees, not just once, as often as possible. There's tons of little snippets. Having said that, you need to make sure you're working with a trusted source. So obviously work with your IT professionals to get some expert advice. It should be free up front. Consultations and advice are usually free. So make those phone calls, ask those questions. And then as you go forward, be super vigilant about this. If you see emails coming, even from someone you trust or you think you trust, it might not really be them. It's the number one way of getting past your guard is to pretend that someone is who they aren't. Send you an email. Here's that invoice you wanted. Oh, okay. And you click on it, and it has nothing to do with your normal business. So pick up the phone, call that person. Did you send me this email? Oh, no, I didn't send you an email. So use those tried and true methods of just double checking. And same goes with phone scams.
So are these the things that you click on? Is it usually a link? So it wouldn't be an attachment. It would be a link. Is that right? Or could it be an attachment too?
Could be both. The attachment was the traditional way. A lot of people have got their guard up about attachments now, finally. But having said that, we are working from home a lot. You don't have the little meeting around the office cooler or the water cooler or the coffee pot anymore. So when you used to hand someone a sticky note or a little piece of paper in their inbox, you're now attaching it to an email. So, the bad guys are thinking about that. People are exchanging important business documents in emails. So yes, the attachment's still an issue, but the links are easy to insert in everything. And people click on thousands of them every day, whether it be on Facebook or an email or a pop-up or searching the internet.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So say you're a boss or a company or somebody or maybe you're just an individual, but right now you are doing all your banking from home. Or maybe your employee now is doing their banking from home on their personal computer. What can you recommend for somebody like that, steps to take if they don't currently have some kind of virus software or whatever in place?
Well, certainly they need to do so, and they should have multiple layers. We've partnered with a company that's based, they're former NSA operatives. They have now started their own business, and they provide security protection. And they recommend, and we as their partners recommend, multiple layers of antivirus protection. Now, you can't just go buy 3 off the shelf. They will not work well together. And the scanning software usually bogs a computer down. So you need to make sure you're working with someone who knows how to do this and make it work properly. And then, of course, the connection between your bank and your office, and there are ways to make that connection more secure. There are devices and software. You may hear terms like VPN, which is a virtual private network. We can utilize this technology to better secure those connections. It's not an off-the-shelf type of thing. You might want to get someone involved. If it's on the internet and it's free, right off the bat, your red flag should go up. No, it's not going to be as protected as something that you might have to pay a little bit for, but it's worth it.
Yeah. So, and that's something that y'all can provide for a client if they don't have an IT person as well, correct?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we can either work with existing IT professionals that you have on staff and help support them and educate them.
Yeah.
We sometimes stand in for a company and become their outsourced IT. And the same should be said for any reputable IT company. I don't necessarily recommend going to the do-it-yourself type of IT person who does it on the side.
Yeah.
Not to say that this is not something that they're very intelligent about, but it's not their everyday thing. And this is a big deal right now. So
yeah, and I'm sure it's like this COVID-19 and everything else that right now, especially, it's always changing, isn't it? I mean, there's no like certain format, or there's no, code that this is how it's going to be. So y'all have to kind of be on your toes.
We have to adapt. Yeah, this is the software I was talking about that comes with your computer, the Windows Defender, all that stuff is really good at catching old viruses, old stuff, because it's been there and we know how to detect it. It's the new thing that the guy in another country decides to create tomorrow, the bug he creates to get past all of this that we're not ready for. And there are certain types of software you've got to use that are designed to catch that. So absolutely. It's evolving constantly.
It's amazing the time people take to sit around and invent stuff that's going to hurt people. You'd think they would take that time and invent something to help people.
You would think so.
That people would pray on the week during this time. I read somewhere this morning. I know that there's so many examples out there about even people marking things up online. Like I read where they're selling things like those, what are they called? The masks, the N95 masks.
Right.
They're marking them up like 400% to 500%. They may not even be real. They may be fake. So yeah, and also like our kids, right? They're on online school all day now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and they're innocent. So even my daughter, my 9-year-old, she's got an email account.
Mm-hmm.
So an email sent to her account, she's very likely to click. So we probably need to be educating our children about this as well, right? What should we tell our children that are taking these classes at home that are now have their emails and are communicating through their emails? What tips should we be giving our children?
Yeah, I would give them the same tips that we're giving to our employees when it comes to, do not click on an attachment unless you're expecting it. It's the teacher said they're going to send it, or something to that nature. Or mom's going to send you a list and attach it to an email or something. If it's not expected, don't trust it. I don't care who it says it's from. I don't care what organization it says it's from.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, you and I could sit down and we create all kinds of emails if we wanted to. It's not hard. And it's one of the things that we use the most every day, and it's the easiest to compromise. Yeah. Whatever you do, never send passwords, personal information, anything like that in an email. It is not secure. It's easily compromised.
Okay. Well, so where are you working today, Paul? Are you home or are you at your office?
I'm home. I found a corner of everybody else is in the other end of the house, and I'm trying to isolate. Otherwise, I'll have cats and dogs and who knows what else in here.
Are you in your pajamas?
No, I'm not in my pajamas. Could have been. Didn't think of it. Nah.
I know. I've been seeing these funny pictures of people and they're waist up. They're like have their sports jacket on and then waist down their pajamas. So I wear jeans every day. No. So, well, this was awesome. Thank you so much for being here and doing this. And I will be putting Paul's comments or Paul's contact information in the contacts. And Paul, if I'll tag you, so if people have any questions, I'd love for you to, in the comments to answer any questions that may possibly come up. And also, we'll have his contact information if you are somebody that needs to have him, manage your computers. That's what he does for us. He manages several of our computers for a fee, and it's really not that much. I mean, it's surprisingly low for what we get, and that is somebody constantly around the clock, manage. How should I say it? Just overseeing what's going on with our computers, right? And you're constantly doing checks and things like that.
That's correct. And again, a call or a phone call or an email, whatever method. I don't got my cell phone. Give out my cell phone. Okay. Call me. I'd love to talk to people. I realize you might not want to share all the personal details about your business in an online forum. So call me. We'll have a conversation. Yeah. It's certainly on the house. My advice is free.
Awesome. Well, this is great. So remember Paul Haigh with Rumbles Document Solutions, cybersecurity expert. We'll put his contact information in the post, and y'all join us. So we're doing it again tomorrow at 1:00. We're having Patrice Bullock She is an amazing woman, just wonderful. She's a nurse practitioner and does holistic medicine and just has a really unique perspective on just health all the time. She's an expert, and also especially during this COVID-19 time, we want to hear what she's got to say. So thank y'all for joining us. If you're watching, please share this with everybody. This is great information. Everybody needs to know this, because everybody, right? 99.9% of people are online. So we all need this information. So thanks for watching, guys. Please share this information. If you have any ideas for topics for any upcoming interviews, please let me know. I'm Leslie Bennett. We're going to sign off, and don't forget to put your questions and comments. Have a great day, guys. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Good talking to you. All right,
you
see you
too.
later.
Bye-bye.